in the present market scenario, right now, we see strong bulls in the market, right? We see strong bulls in the market, which means there are many companies which are giving very good returns in terms of price and volume, right? Price is getting stronger, and even there is more volume also coming, right? There are more number of buyers. So this is the time where you need to be very careful on selecting the stocks also, because at this kind of a market scenario, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, every company will be improving, right? That is the first sense of a bull run, right? So how do you check both technicals and fundamentals, right? How can you club both of them and ensure we be in stronger positions? So now, as the market is at a very all-time high, or our market is every day inching up, should we be very careful, or should we book profits? Should we exit and wait for some correction and then enter? No. If a position is strong, if fundamentally if a company is good and technically also it is stronger, or existing companies in our portfolio where they are giving some good strength, we have to add them rather than adding a weak company. A strong company which is exhibiting price and volume, it's okay to add more and more positions, right? So today we'll be discussing about how you can blend fundamentals and the technicals together. With a lot of case studies we will be discussing. So some of the discussions what we have will be mostly applicable for many of the investors, even someone who are like beginners as well, right? Even someone who are like beginners as well. And the stocks we discuss, do not consider them as a recommendation or a tips like that. Rather, consider them as for learning purpose, because these case studies will help you to analyze decent companies. Okay. So first of all, why we need to have a combination of fundamentals and technical knowledge, and how it will help us, and what is the reason for combining both of them, right? What is the reason for combining both of them? First of all, when you look at the fundamental characteristics, right? The fundamental characteristics of a company, or someone who are only following a company's fundamentals, fundamentals will tell you what to buy, and valuations wise, it will give you some decent picture, right? So rather than buying a company which is fundamentally weak, or which has been a very new player into the market, and we do not know its track record, right? We do not know its track record. So fundamentals will help us to identify what kind of a businesses we can enter, and in terms of valuation, whether it is overvalued or undervalued, we will be getting to know. And for all those investors who are only following fundamentals, technicals will help us in three broad categories. And that is why they need to learn technicals. One, it will help to filter the stocks. So how do we filter? You have certain companies in your radar, and those companies which are giving some good price and volume strength, those companies you will be able to focus more, right? We check the trend in the stock. An uptrend means you have more up days than down days, right? More up days than down days. And stock exits. Always remember, in your entire journey in stock market, a stock's exit or a weakness is first observed in technicals charts. When a stock is falling down, or it is becoming more weak, or you see more red candles with more red volume, that is the first indication that something is going to go bad there. Fundamentals will later follow, right? After few days, or after few months, we'll get to know the quarterly results have been dropping, the month-on-month returns have been dropping, or there is some fraudulent transaction has happened, or there is some change in the management which has impacted the stock to fall down, right? So fundamentals will come later. Technically on the chart, it will tell you first. And third, stage analysis, right? Stage analysis. What did I tell you? When a stock is in trend, right? When a stock is in trend, which is like more up days than down days, this is called as stage 2, right? This is called as stage 2. So you get to know in which stage a company is, right? In which stage a company is. If a stock is falling down and when it is in stage 4, that is where we need to avoid, right? That is where we need to avoid. Now coming to the technical aspect of it, right? Technical aspect of it. There are many investors, right, who are aware of when to buy and when to exit, right? When to buy and when to exit. You're technically, you will get to know when to buy and when to exit. For example, I'll give you certain case studies, right? Certain case studies. Technically, on the charts, when you see a good price and volume and it is a good breakout, right? Good breakout, that's the good entry for us, right? For example, let me share my screen. And if you see, if I consider for a long term, right? If I consider for a long term and wherein I am looking on a weekly chart, right? Wherein I am looking on a weekly chart, if you see companies like Polycab India, right? Polycab India, where yes, fundamentally a decent company, right? Fundamentally, yes, there is a decent strength going on. And if you go and check in screener, or if you read the annual report, or if you go and check the quarterly growth in numbers of this company, you get to know that it is qualitatively decent, average, or even good company, right? It's fundamentally qualitatively a good company. Technically, if you observe on a weekly chart, yes, almost from September onwards, in the last 2 months, just consolidating. There are no signs of weakness, but it is just consolidating. And this week, it has given a good breakout, right? It has given a good breakout. So this technically looks a decent position and closer to the breakout, right? So this zone of a price point of 5,500 levels, right? This is technically a good breakout, right? Technically a good breakout. Similarly, maybe you look at HCL Technologies, right? IT related, IT companies, or even before going to a IT stock, if you look at IT as a sector, right? Nifty IT, for almost like years, almost like 1 year, 2 year, from May 2022, or even if you see from August 21, it is at the same level where it is just consolidating. Recently, IT as a sector has broken up, right? So it's a good breakout. So in the IT, any company where it is showing a clear breakout with some good volumes also coming, technically that is good to take a position. The closer, when the price is closer to this breakout level, it would be an ideal entry where we need to initiate with a small position. So if you look here, someone who are following technicals, yes, when to buy, when there is strong price, volume, and at a good breakout level, you get a good understanding that yes, it's a good buy. Exit, when we see a breakdown, price is falling, volume is falling, and continuously for 2-3 days it is losing strength. Technically, that is the first indication for exit. Right? That's the first signal for exit. Right? So we have like relative strength as an indicator where we check whether the company with respect to the fundamentals of the Nifty, right? So when a company is relatively getting stronger, when you load a relative strength indicator with respect to Nifty 50, it is looking stronger. We keep increasing the position, right? Even stage analysis, yes. The companies which we discussed are clearly in a stage 2. Yeah, is in a clear case stage 2 where it is increasing in price and volume, right? And whenever there is a price and volume strength, I'll tell you, whoever are beginners in technicals, or sir, I've just started learning technicals, I'm picking up on that. The first important criteria you need to look at is price and volume. If a stock is picking up good price and volume, There is a long way to go, right? Then we look at the indicators, then we look at the strength, then we look at the stage analysis and all that, right? First thing is look price and volume and your entry. I know there are many people, sir, right now, today the stock has already advanced by 2%, already advanced by 3%. Can I be there? Enter in strength rather than a stock falling 3%, a stock falling 4%. I think the stock has corrected good. Now I will enter. No, rather enter during a strong price and volume because we are there in the trend, right? We are there in the trend. And for all of the investors who are following on the technicals, yes, these are certain things which you would be following. And fundamentally, if you follow these details, and it's not too difficult to do, right? How do you check the quarterly data? You check in screener whether, yes, quarterly the performance from the last quarter, September, to the previous quarter, is there an increase in sales? Is there an increase in margins? Is there an increase in net profits? So what you get is you get more conviction to increase position, right? If you look at Polycab, yes, the last quarterly results have been decently well when compared to the previous quarter. Yeah, previous quarter. So in that kind of a situation, as the quarterly data is improving, technically also is looking good. So you get more conviction to further add your position, right? That's called as averaging up or increasing your positions, right? And sir, in a certain business, in a certain company, I have almost 10% of my portfolio there. Try to understand the business, right? You search for some keywords, be it like you open up an annual report or you open up a recommendation report by any rating agency or any bank, you get a recommendation report, right? Instead of just focusing on the buy and sell price or recommended price, or is it buy, sell, or hold, look at what is happening in the business. You can search out for margins. Just do a control F, search for sales growth, net profit growth. Is it increasing in earnings, right? Is it increasing in capital infusion? Is there any capital infusion that has come into the company, right? Is there any amalgamation? Is the company starting up with any new projects? Is the company going into export business? Is it expanding from domestically to export? Is it catering the other demographics wherein it is also expanding its export services, right? Go and just study them. I know, sir, I'm a working professional, I'm a businessman, I'm too busy with all my works. You need not analyze all the companies in your portfolio. It's good to do that, but positions where you have major allocation there, understand the business, it will help you to give more position sizing for that stocks. And sir, I'm not an expert to do this entire analysis. If you start, you'll develop more interest, and that's how you build multi-baggers in your portfolio, right? And now, touch wood, right now, we are in a growing market and the market is increasing. Now, because of some reason, with this continuous energy, there will be some correction. And a small correction is healthy for the next bull run to start. So during that correction, do you stay away from the market or do you be worried? An intelligent or a smart investor will always search for fundamentally strong company during a market downfall, right? When the market is correcting, or when you see there is a small weakness in the company, at that time, any company which is exhibiting strength, so the market has declined by 5-6%, whereas certain positions which I am observing are not falling or are not increasing, it is just sideways, or they've just declined by 1-2%. But those are fundamentally strong companies, sir. So during a fall, if you observe stocks which are exhibiting strength, that is where you have to invest into. When the next bull run starts, these will be the kickers in your portfolio, right? And lastly, avoid red flag companies based on financials, which means, sir, I'm checking the last a couple of quarters data. I see a continuous fall in revenues, right? I see the overall profit after tax, net profit is declining. So these are some indications that something is going bad in the stock, right? That is the reason you have to be more careful, and any instance of weakness in the stock, move out of the stock, right? Move out of the stock. Now that you have understood technicals and fundamentals, let's broadly see why a combined lens is very important, right? Is very important. First, as a person who is analyzing both fundamentally and technically, as I said, buying, you can buy based on fundamentals and the technical strength of the stock. Selling, first comes is technicals, because if a stock is losing price and volume, you should first be more cautious, right? And later on, it will come in the fundamental news, or it will come into the news, or it will be coming into the quarterly data, because there are many people who are like insiders, right? And when the price and volume falling heavily, it means some big players are exiting, some insiders are reducing the position, right? If there is a big players exiting out of the stock, means something, there is a problem, right? So you can't get that in the news, it will be visible in the chart. And the best part is, price and volume on a chart cannot be manipulated. Someone can manipulate the numbers, someone can manipulate the quarterly data, someone can manipulate the audit data, right? But the price and volume is something no one can manipulate. You get that first. Second, these problems in a company, before coming to a retail investor like you and me, insiders get to know what is the problem in the company. Institutions, right? Or even news agencies, or even big players, right? Certain wealth management firms, they have a very closer connectivity with the firm, right? They get to know what is happening. So if any kind of a red flag they observe, they'll be more awake and they will slowly exit the position. And when they are exiting, we can see in terms of volume, right? Where the price will be falling and volumes also, or red bars will be coming more, means more number of sellers. That's why I say, based on technicals, we need to move out. And later on, after the entire fall, after the entire tragedy has happened, then we get to know in the quarterly results, there is a fall in sales, drastical fall, right? In the con call, they say that there is a problem, that because of this reason, maybe for the next quarter, our performance will be stagnant, or our performance will be going down, right? So if you're only following fundamentals of the company and you do not have any idea about what is happening on the charts, maybe these pointers you miss, and you get to know that the company is weak after a term, after some time, where it is announced in the quarterly results like that. So by that time, already there would be a major drop would have happened. And yes, accept the fact that retail investors will be the last to receive an information about a company, right? So in order to avoid that, you need to learn the art of fundamental and technical analysis to be more vigilant enough, right? To be more vigilant enough. And yes, the present scenario also, if you see a stock which is exhibiting fundamental strength and technically it is building up value, right? Varun Beverages Limited, if you go back and check, quarterly good growth, expansion wise good expansion, right? Margins, there is no dip, even though there is a huge competition from many players, from many FMCG players, it was able to sustain. And when that fundamental strength along with technical price and volume, it is able to combine, right? That leads to the next further movement of strength in the company, right? Strength in the company, right? So have these two lens. And if someone who are like beginners, sir, I've been just following only on fundamentals, no technical knowledge at all, right? So start building up, and you start with price and volume, right? Price and volume. This makes an investor super strong. Okay. So let me know below the companies which you feel, sir, yes, both fundamentally and technically, these stocks are stronger and I'm trying to accumulate those stocks. Let me know below. Or sir, the companies which are exhibiting fundamental strength and technical strength, these are there in my radar. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity and I'll be accumulating these companies, right? So in a bull run, rather than accumulating all random companies, accumulate stronger companies. So even a bear run start, or even there is a weakness in the market, as you have accumulated stronger companies, the fall would not be so significant as like the market, right? It will be exhibiting strength. Okay, good.